So welcome everyone. So let us go into meditation. Kindly sit in a very comfortable posture, crossing your legs one above the other. Clasping your hands, fingers into fingers. Kindly take off your glasses if you're wearing any. And close your eyes. Meditation is very easy. And meditation is a practice of awareness. Becoming aware of what's happening within us. With the open eyes, we become aware of what is happening around us. And with the closed eyes, we can become aware of what is happening inside us. So, what's happening inside us? It is thoughts, thinking, which we are generally not aware of with our open eyes, as much as we can become aware with our closed eyes. So many thoughts. And every thought is an energy, part of our mental energy. So, as we become aware of our thoughts, which is happening inside us because of our mind, everything comes in. And as every thought is an energy, we want to conserve the mental energy. So we become aware of our breath, normal, natural breath. So even with our closed eyes, our mind tries to take us outside to the memories of what had happened in our life. And we really want to be inside with our closed eyes, become aware of what's happening inside. So we bring the mind to sit with our breath. Observe the breath. This is what we say to every thought that comes. Feel the breath that is going in and coming out. This is what we say to every thought. Feel the breath going in and coming out. No need to have a forceful breathing. Breath is already happening, and we simply observe that, witness that. Again, a thought comes and takes us outside. The moment we notice that we are thinking, bring back the awareness inside to the breath. Meditation is simply sitting idle, silent, a complete silence. It happens by being with our own natural breath. We have so much of patience. That is why every time we notice a thought, we joyfully return inside to our own breath. There is no hurry and nothing to worry. We are all here to completely relax by witnessing our own natural breath. We will have some nice music that will remind us that we are here to be with the breath. Simply observe your breath. slowly bring back your awareness to your surroundings and to your physical body. The last 20 seconds, let us be in silence as we become more and more aware of everything around us. Last 5 seconds. You may now place your hands over your eyes. Whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes and take off your hands. Welcome back. Hope you all had a relaxed meditation. If you have water near you, kindly have some. So before we go into experiences sharing, let us listen about the journey of another master. So most of you already know we are reading a series which is called as Gurus of India. And we listen to the life journey of these masters. So we have already listened to more than 12 or more life journeys of various different masters. And today we are going to listen about Vallalar. So Vallalar. Vallalar was born in the year 1823 in Marudur near Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu state, which is south of India, in a Hindu Shaivite family as the fifth child and last son of his father Ramaya Pillai and mother Chinnammaiyar. The saint was conscious of his birth, not merely at the time of the birth, but even during all the process of that culminated in fertilization. As he wrote to say in one of his writings called Peru Vinnapam, that the emanations of his soul took active part in the formations of the cells of his formal father and of the cell of his formal mother with the divine inner light of protection for keeping up the divine qualities of his soul and a good physique. When the child was 5 months old, his parents took him to the Chidambaram temple. It is said that this infant laughed aloud when the priest offered the traditional Deepa Aradhana to the Lord. This apparently routine visit to the temple thus offered him his first spiritual experience as well. Sometime at a later date, Ramalingam was to record this experience in the following words. No sooner was the light perceived than happiness prevailed on me. It is significant that as he matured spiritually, he consistently and decisively advocated the worship in the form of Arut Perunjoti or effulgent light of grace. Ramaya Pillai, however, did not live to see his son's glory. He passed away the very next month. His sudden death forced a helpless mother to shift to the residence of her eldest son, Sabapati, and his wife Parvati at Chennai. This was in the year 1824. When Ramalingam was 5 years old, Sabapati, in a true patriarchal manner, decided to formally educate his youngest sibling. The young child, however, demonstrated a deep disinclination towards formal education, preferring trips to the local Kandaswamy temple instead. This invited the wrath of his brother, who was convinced that the child was on a self destructive path. As a punitive measure, he forbade his wife for giving Ramalingam his daily meal. His compassionate sister in law, however, fed him food and gently prevailed upon him to pursue his studies seriously at home. Ramalingam relented on the condition that he be given a separate room of his own. Now, in the solitary confines of the room, he set up a mirror and in front of it a small lighted lamp. With these as aids, he relentlessly meditated, and this was the beginning of the spiritual journey of the young boy. The first reward came in the form of a vision of Lord Muruga. In the saint's own words, the beauty endowed divine faces 6, the illustrious shoulders 12. But the miraculous portion in this whole episode lay in the high levels of erudition which Ramalingam attained without any formal tutoring whatsoever. The outside world was also soon to be a witness to it. It so happened that once Ramalingam had to substitute for his brother at a upanyasa, means a speech session. His brilliant exposition and uninterrupted flow of words while enunciating a verse from the scripture Periya Puranam elated and amazed the onlookers. Audiences everywhere preferred this substitute to the original, and his brother also graciously acknowledged the mental and spiritual superiority of his brother. Ramalingam himself expresses his gratitude to the divine when he says, effulgent flame of grace that lit in me intelligence to know untaught. As he made quantum leaps in his spiritual journey, he progressed from being a devout Shaiva to worshipping the formless. In the last decade of his life, he started first in the year 1865 an association of spiritual fellowship called Samarasa Suddha Sanmarga Satya Sangam, the Association for the Path of Purity, Truth, the Right and Harmony, which was opened in 1867 at Dharamshala at Vadalpur, 40 miles off Pondicherry. For feeding of the poor and the hungry, he read the first chapter of his prose work, Jiva Karunam, to his disciples. He wove round this practical way or sadhana of compassion to fellow beings and creatures, the fulfillment of the highest aspiration of man in realizing the bliss of the integral divine on the earth with a body free from diseases, aging, decay, and death. He deprecated killing of animals for food and for religious sacrifices. He could not bear the least harm or injury to animals. Lastly, he founded at Vadalur in the significant year 1872 on January 25th, symbolic shrine of worship called Satya Gnana Sabha, the sanctum of truth knowledge in honor and respect of the universal coming of the God of vast grace, light, who was about to manifest. On October 22nd, Ramalinga hoisted the flag of brotherhood atop his one-room residence called Siddhi Vilakkam at Mettukuppam. It was at this juncture that he delivered what was to be his last and most famous discourse. He exhorted people to devote their time to spiritual inquiry, which would lead them to probe into the nature of the powers that lie beyond us and move us. He then removed the lighted lamp from his room and placed it outside and advised his followers to meditate. He had the divine call in him as a representative of the earth and felt himself an instrument of the divine for the universal manifestation of the death conquering vast grace light on the earth. He saw the vision of a divine evolution of the earthly life in the wake of its manifestation. He realized the supreme and universal divine integrally, and his body also became transformed and filled with the light so much so it did not cast its shadow on the ground. He eventually attained a transformed and divinized golden physical body, deathless and even indestructible, shadowless and sleepless and full of light, amrita and blissful energies, and with a potential power to resurrect the death into the bodily life. He preached deathlessness of body to the people and said that it was by an error they are consenting to death. After about a year or two of attaining the deathless body, he sacrificed it by dematerialization on 30th January 1874. He locked himself up in a room and instructed his followers in words which have been recorded that they were not to open it under any circumstances, and that even if they did, they would find nothing. So, this is about Master Vallalar, who in the year 1823 to 1874, so we are talking of 51 years, wherein he could experience various spiritual aspects of life, different dimensions of life, and he was as well guiding people into meditation. So the source of this information is coming from vallalar.org website, and that we read today is from this collection of life stories in Gurus of India book. So thanks everyone for joining today's evening session. And I know Vallalar, when we said today we will be listening about the journey of Vallalar, many of our friends and masters in the groups have shared that they know very much well about Vallalar. If anyone is here who know about him, or so if you want to share something about him, please feel free to unmute yourself. Or if anyone would like to share your experience, you can do that as well. However, it's up to your choice. Yes, Dr. Lingeshwar, yes.
Sai Ram, thank you to all the masters here. I'm very happy to be here today, reading about Vallalar, Sri Ramalinga Swamigal is name. My name is also after this saint. My father was a great devotee of Vallalar, and he used to recite all his works almost daily. The main thing that we were taught when we were small children is the compassion. That's Ramalinga Swamigal's main teaching. Whatever the being, whether it's a animal, small insect, or plants, or trees, or people, children, whatever, he taught us to be compassionate, to always help any living being. And in his abode in Vadalur, that is, we went there. Oh, my father took us when we were very small children, small kids. And I still remember that's a very unforgettable experience for us. And even after all these years, I still remember, and my brothers two brothers were there at the time. They also came, small children. They also still remember that day, that time. And we went there afterwards a few times. And in that temple, if we can call it a temple, um, there is no image or figures or statues or anything. And in that sanctum, there is a undying light, which is still burning from that day when Vallalar himself lit it. And the story goes, if I remember right, or what I understood, that he was in that room in the last 3 days, and he said, "Don't open it. And even if you open it, there will be nothing but light." And the Arat Peranjodi, that is the divine light. So 3 days later, when they opened, there was no sign of him, only the light was there. And that lamp is still burning. And the other thing he taught was um, to feed all beings. And the wooden wood burning stove that they have is never off. It's always working, like it's always on. There's no, it's never put off. And there's always food. And everybody who goes there from, there's no distinction about um, who you are or anything like that. And everybody gets food at any time of the day. And they read his works there. It's a very divine place. And the light there is mesmerizing. So because of this, Swamigal had a great influence in our family. And my father was thorough with all his books. He used to say he was actually a scientist who had, if you read his works deeply, and his explains how the atom can be split and how the energy can be harvested for the good of man and all sorts of scientific things. We didn't understand all those concepts at that time. We were only small, but he was thorough with it, and he used to play many songs um, and read his, recite his treatises. Quite extensive works he has written, actually. So we are influenced by those teachings, and we try to be compassionate. And we were all brought up like that, and a great influence on us. And to this day, we have his picture, and we always do some arti. And our constant saying is Aruperinjodi, Tani Perum Karunai. So the Karunai is compassion to all beings. So it's a very um, strong belief that was inculcated in us. And I'm thankful for that, actually, that we were um, told about this concept of compassion and love. And I'm very grateful to my parents for that. I really wish I had learned more of his works thoroughly, like my father. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this personal journey of yours about um, Vallalar. And Lingeshwarji, can you specify clearly which place you are talking about that he left his physical body?
Vadalur. It's called Vadalur. The shrine is there, and it's not far from Kadalur, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So if you go in South India near Kadalur, and then you travel by car or bus, and I don't know the exact distance. I can find out and let you know. It's a very simple shrine, and Taipusam is one of the big festivals there, and they say people go in millions there to witness the Jyoti that is light. and it's one of the major festivals there.
Mhm.
And millions and millions gather. And it has spread to all parts of India, the Swamigal's works, and so there are many temples or societies in India, and they read out his works, and they have lots of discussions and debates around his birthday and throughout the year too. They
Mhm.
do, especially food, like no one should be hungry. So that's the main concept, and they're always distributing food and helping in education and orphanages and so on. So they do a lot of work.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. My knowledge is so limited. I just realized, if it was my father, he would tell you the whole significance of his works. I mean, one of the things he said was, "We are light beings. We are not a physical body. We are light beings." Um, that's what they used to say. So we are energy rather than physical components.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks for the sharings, Lingeshwari. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Subhashini ji. Yeah, please go ahead.
So, namaskaram, sir, namaskaram all. Just wanted to add some more points to what Dr. G has shared. So this marga has been found by Vallalar, and he named it as Samarasa Suddha Sanmargam. And there are 4 principles, and there are also four disciplines to be followed that he specifies. The principles would be 4 Purusharthamam, that is Emasiddhi, Saga Kalvi, Tattva Nigraham, Kadavul Nilai Arinda Ammayamadal. That is the 4th one will be, all the Siddhi and Muddhis, and above that there is the final state where we have to become oneness with God. Kadavul Nilai Arinda Ammayamadal. You have to become like him. Until then you will be facing death at any one position. So only at that position you are deathless. So that is the final definition. And what he shares is this can be achieved through Jiva Karunya. Jiva Karunya, that's it. And he says God is full of grace and with Karunya. And if you do Karunya to Jivas here, maybe small animals or plants, still human beings, whatever Jiva Karunyam you do, through that the bigger Karunya will come to you and he will be blessing you. So this is how the final thing happens. And he also shares that how this physical body can be converted into 3 forms. That is Sutta Degam, he says, where any food, they will take very limited food and that food will not come out like for us. It gets just absorbed into it. It's called Sutta Degam. And then Pranava Degam, that is sound body. That is what we call as Omkara Rupam, like Lord Muruga. And the final is called as Jnana Degam. Jnana Degam is something like if they want, they can appear before us. But it's like the state of God, Jnana Degam. So this is the final thing. And Peruman is, I follow Vallalar and for years at home, and my kids also, I'm teaching them. My father was also there with Vedatri Maharishi and Vallalar. So what he says is until the final thing, Jnana Degam is attained, some death is happening. Only when the Jnana Degam is taken, then that's the final goal. And then there is 4 disciplines, which is Indriya Urkam. The Indriyas have to follow some kind of a discipline. And then mental discipline, that is called as Karana Urkam. And then there's a life discipline called as Jiva Urkam. And then there is a physique or soul discipline called as Anma Urkam. These are the 4 Urkams. So this marga has some principles and disciplines to follow along with Jiva. And then for the self growth, it is Jiva Karunya. And then it is Sat Vicharam. You have to see there is some steps where you have to value yourself at which part of the spiritual journey you are by talking with people. That's called a Sat Vicharam. So these are the principles to follow. And he has also written something called as Grantha that is called Thiruvaruppa. There are 6 volumes of Thiruvaruppa. So it's meant for Parayanam, basically, for the basic concentration. So I do Thiruvaruppa Parayanam at home every day. And in the 6th, that is, he takes like from idle concept and then to the God's concept for all the Deva Devatas is, it takes one step by step, and then the final will be like Nirguna. So that is the sixth Tirumurai, where he elaborates on what Arutpirinjodi God means. And there is called as something important thing called as Arutpirinjodi Agaval, which is called as the head, the crown, or the jewel piece of this whole Tiruvaruppa. And this has to be done as a Parayanam at every Sarmargi's house. So along with some points there, this is the literary part and the discipline and Purusharthama part that I wanted to share along with Dr. G. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very wonderful, Subhashini Garu. So it's so nice to listen much more about the contributions of this wonderful master. So,
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, masters, anyone? So, well, then we end today's evening session. I wish you all a wonderful remaining part of the day. Namaste, and we meet back at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning session. Namaste.
Namaste, Ram.
Namaste, Malati ji. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, Sabita Garu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Come.